In earlier generations of the Philippines, loud wailing at wakes and burials was not only common but expected. The sound of grief expressed in cries, chants, and laments was part of the ritual of mourning, a way of showing both family devotion and communal respect for the dead. Among Chinese migrants to the Philippines, particularly those of Hokkien and Cantonese origin, it was traditional to hire professional mourners known as kusangs. These individuals were paid to perform exaggerated crying and wailing during funeral processions and burials. Far from being considered strange, their role was understood as essential. The wailing signaled to neighbors and even to spirits that the deceased was being honored and properly sent off. This practice may have blended into Filipino households through centuries of intermarriage and cultural exchange. But Chinese influence was not the only source of such traditions. As early as 1582, the Spanish chronicler Miguel de Loarca observed that in Luzon and the Visayas, female relatives of the deceased, and sometimes hired women, would cry loudly, chant poetic laments, and even beat their chests during wakes. These laments were not borrowed from the Spaniards, since colonization was still new at the time. Rather, they were likely inherited from Austronesian ancestors, who shared similar mourning practices across the islands of Southeast Asia. The wailing served multiple purposes. On one level, it was an emotional release for the bereaved, a way of externalizing grief that words alone could not contain. On another, it was a social signal, ensuring that the community recognized the depth of loss and the honor due to the departed. In some cases, the laments were even poetic, transforming sorrow into a performance that preserved memory through sound. Over time, however, these customs began to fade. With the spread of Western notions of dignity and restraint, loud wailing came to be seen as excessive or undignified. The rise of funeral parlors in urban areas further changed the atmosphere. Air-conditioned chapels, polished interiors, and subdued music replaced the raw, communal expressions of grief once heard in ancestral homes and village wakes. Today, loud wailing survives mainly in rural areas, where older traditions still hold sway. In cities, mourning has become quieter, more restrained, and more private. What was once a public performance of grief has been replaced by solemn silence, whispered prayers, and discreet tears. Yet the memory of these practices reminds us that mourning was once a collective act. It was not only about the family but about the community and even the unseen world of spirits. The wailing of the past may sound unsettling to modern ears, but it carried meaning. It was a declaration that the dead were loved, remembered, and honored. What has been lost is not only the sound of grief but also the sense of shared mourning. In the old days, wailing was not a spectacle but a duty, something people did as a matter of course, because it was expected, and because it was part of what it meant to say goodbye. Thank you for exploring this subject of funereal wailing in the Philippines with us. If you liked this video, help this channel out by liking it and subscribing. See you in the next video.